Thank you for tuning in to Wisdom Investor TV. This is Richard here with the daily stock market report for Friday, May 2nd, 2014. You can find us at wisdominvestor.com. Please recommend a friend. The content on the website and the videos produced by Wisdom Investor are for education and learning purposes only. Okay, we're going to start off here just taking a look at one of our graphs here. This is the we're going to show the money flow here on the money flow graph, MFI as it's called. And we're going to just take a look at some comparison, see where we're at compared to some of the other peaks in the market here. So this is we're going to go back here to September of last year, 13. Money flow was peaking up here at the top, and the market at the same time down here at the bottom. This the S&P 500 daily chart was coming up to the top here, and then it in this case the money flow continued to move down after this peak, and the price moved down. So that's one example here. Let's look at another time money flow peaked out here. This is in almost the 1st of November, end of October. The market had been moving up into this period. Money flow peaked, but the market continued to move higher. Okay, so it's letting us know that it's reaching a point where the market can take off here. So we had one, it moved down afterwards, and the second one moved up. Let's take a look at this one here. Not quite as high of a surge on the money flow, and we did come down for maybe a week and then pop back up and came down again in December here, and then took off again. So the possibility of a pullback there 2 out of 3 times here. Money flow peaked here again, and we continued steady for a couple weeks here, and then eventually we took a pretty strong dive. Money flow here again in March of this year, and then we continued up for almost 2 weeks, and then we came back down, kind of hovered around the support areas, came back up, and it's kind of where in the rectangular pattern that we're in right now. So here we are now. Money flow has peaked, and we haven't quite reached the high. So what are we looking at here? I think one serious time of coming back down immediately when we reach that, but most of the others we continued up at least for a few days, or in a couple cases a few weeks. So we've reached a point here that we will have to be cautious, but it not necessarily is it a bad sign. So we're in this rectangular pattern here that we're taking a look at here, and so we got our highs here, and we've got our lows down here. So if the market can't budge out of that, we may bounce around up in here or try to get over that and come back down. What would happen, we're going to come back down here and try to hit the support area. And so probably not the best place to be going long here at this point right now, unless we surge up above this 190 area in the SPY here. So good chance we get up in that area, 190, bounce down off of it. If it can't handle not enough buyers to push it up, and we come back down here and try to tackle this, try this support area as a positive. Now we could continue higher out of this too. That's a possibility, but so that's kind of where we're at. We're looking at the money flow index here and what it can do. So I think there's probably a good chance we could continue on up higher. So let's look at our market weekly conservative portfolio charts here. We're holding the SPY right now, and the weekly charts here are still positive here. MACD, our indicators here, momentum indicator, is inching its way, trying to push up. Our stochastic is pushing up, and so we want to be on the right side of the chair, and the PMO here is trying to flatten out. Volume to the upside this week wasn't that great, up almost 1%. So we're above the our support areas here, and we need to see some reversing candlesticks here to get a reversal on this market if it's going to do that. Now, it's not showing a lot of strength to the upside, but it is moving up. QQQ here, NASDAQ 100 up 1.51%. it's up above its support area here. Now when I say a reversing candlestick would be like a red candlestick here, reverses down below the previous week's low and continues, and we need follow through on the way down. So we're gonna need some selling here to reverse that. So PMO here, or the MACD, is still pushing down, so that means it's letting us know maybe unless we get some force here as this moves up, there's going to be sellers there until that starts turning around. The stochastic here is moving up, needs to really get over 50 here to really get stronger, but it is moving up, so we want to stick with the trade here, or the trend. The D Dow here is not so showing a whole lot of surge, up 0.86%. MACD's flat. The stochastic pushing up, and we have the RSI index real flat. CCI pushing up. So volume so-so. It was increasing this week just a little bit. So we'll see. The critical area here will be tackling this 167 area. If we get up in there, what happens is it reject it and sellers come in, or does it continue moving up, or it just goes flat? Now we had some good employment numbers today, up 288,000 new jobs. However, kind of funny, not funny necessarily, but interesting. There was 800,000 people left the workforce. So I wonder where all these people are going. They're I guess somebody else can figure that out. So we're right now in the daily charts on our aggressive portfolio. We're in the bull funds right now. The UDOW is up or down just a 0.5%, and the UPRO is up just a little more than 0.5%, 0.7%. So let's go down here and we're going to look at our SPY here real quick. Looking at it on the daily chart. Now we had the originally we had the UPRO right here. We had a nice move up, and then on this sell-off, there was we had a reversing candlestick, hit my stops. I had it set pretty tight there, and it stopped us out. So we made a good run up in here. That came back down, and then we picked up the UPRO again right around this 87 area, and so we're just kind of sitting below that. Oh, excuse me. That was the Qs. Excuse me. On the UPRO, which is the 3 times fund for the SPY, we picked it up down in here, ran it all the way top. On this pushback here, it hit our stop. We were out. We picked it up around the 187 area, and we're just kind of a little bit on the positive side on this. So the what we're looking at here on the SPY here, it's coming up and hitting this resistance line here, 189. We have one peak here. This didn't reach over that peak, and then 2, we're over that peak number 2. So possibility we could come down just a little bit. As long as we hold that 10-day moving average, we may be bouncing off of it. As long as we hold it, it's going to be positive, and then look for maybe a 3 and a 4 in here. Probably get us up in that 190 area, unless there's a bigger surge. And then when we get to that 4th peak, I'm going to be starting to get real cautious. That's assuming we wake up Monday morning and market's not tanked or anything because of a Ukraine-Russia situation or something else that pops up over the weekend. So that's kind of our overall strategy here on the SPY. The indicators are positive. MACD's positive, although it's really flat. It's compared to, you go back here a few months, this MACD had a lot of width between the signal line and the dark black line. It had the power to continue moving it up. We're moving at a lot lower angle here. Same way with the RSI, just 56.53. Can't get above the 60 area. And the PMO is positive. Bottom line is positive, so it means we can hang in here unless something happens that we're not aware of. It happens all of a sudden. Let's take a look at the UDOW here, because we do hold that also. We picked it up around that 164 area, and we're just slightly, just pretty much break even, slightly underwater on that. So again, let's look at the peaks on this. One peak came back and then we were higher than this peak here this week, so we got 2, so possibly 3 and 4 get us up here. So like I said, to get up 4 peaks, I'll be real cautious at that point. MACD again is trying to inch down just a hair, doesn't mean anything yet. Stochastic is still positive, so not the place to be buying right now. We want to wait for a better buying opportunity, pull back, or a surge up and getting some volume in this. Let's look at the IWM and see what's going on with that. Small caps here really came down hard off of this top up here in mid-March. Have come down hard 1, 2, 3, 3 times, come up to the resistance areas and then push back. Now they're holding at this 200-day moving average, and it's been creeping up here. The stochastic is still below 0, so that's, you got to consider that negative, trying to push up, but stochastic above 50 positive, but barely. MACD or RSI below 50, and PMI is negative. So that's not looking good for the small caps. So I'm going to be watching the small caps real carefully. If we start to lose it with the small caps, start to see sell-off, that would be my first signal this market's coming down. We're coming up to that 113 area, popping up there as we did today, and then pulling back, sellers coming back. So I'm thinking we still have a possibility of, at least if things move, you could get up in that 15, up close to that 50-day moving average as a possibility. It may not make it, and if it does, it may not last up there long. So but we'll watch it. It could turn around here. The VIX has been pushing down. That's putting buying pressure. Can't muster any steam up. If it starts breaking over 1357 next week, that'll give us more selling pressure. And on the VXM for the NASDAQ 100, it's also pushing down. So that's buying pressure in the market. And MACD for the VXN is pushing down. So I think there's still room there, unless something big happens over the weekend, that this is going to continue up. And then we'll be careful when we get to that 4th peak. So that's our market report here for Friday, May 2nd, 2014. You can find us at wisdominvestor.com. Please recommend a friend. And so we'll be seeing what the market does here on Monday. Do we continue up? Or if we start to head down, is it going to trigger stops here and get us out of the market? Not a lot of surge up right now, not a big surge up, not a lot of strong volume, so we are a little bit cautious here as we are in our bull funds here right now. Okay, have a great weekend. That's a report here for May 2nd. We'll be back after the market closes on Monday.